What's up, beautiful soul? It is O, and I am going to share with you on this video how I became a $1 million oracle. This will be impactful to your life if you are an intuitive being, if you are empathic, if you are an oracle, a seer, a coach, a mentor, facilitator, if you are supernaturally gifted, if you have unexplainable gifts and you have real world evidence of the value and the impact of your gifts, and you would love to get paid well for your gifts. I believe wholeheartedly that those that are heart-centered, those that are givers, those that are generous souls that are truly here to give their gifts to the world should be paid beautifully, handsomely. Many, many years ago, I said as a declaration for my soul, I'm going to get paid to be me. I want to get paid to do what I love. So, four things that contributed significantly to me becoming a $1 million oracle. Number one, mastering your craft. Once I realized that my sensitivity was a superpower, that my capacity to feel and to empathize with other people, to feel the subtext, to feel what is beneath the surface, the things that aren't being said necessarily, once I realized that that was a superpower and something that is valuable to people, something that is impactful, I decided to double down on it and master my craft. And that started with me mastering my sensitivity and going from me feeling like a victim sometimes to feeling like, or to being a victor, from feeling overwhelmed to feeling present and peaceful and powerful. And that took a lot of self-love and willingness to speak my truth, be my truth, and live my truth, even if my voice shakes. So the more I leaned into loving my sensitivity, embracing it, speaking my truth courageously, the more my sensitivity was manifesting as the superpower that it is. And so that's what I mean by the mastery of my craft. All right, going on to number two. Once I started to share my gifts, share my intuitive gifts in the context of service and helping people, I had another realization, actually a revelation, is that just the offering of my sight was valuable and impactful to a certain degree. But the thing that took it to another level of impact, another level of value, and therefore another level of income was oracular leadership. It is one thing to see something. It is yet another thing to actually offer and be courageous enough to share what it is that you see with someone. And it is yet another thing to share it as a leader. What do I mean by that? When you're sharing from your leadership, then your reflection, your activation becomes an invitation and an evocation, and it brings it right into the now. It brings the person that you're sharing the reflection with right into the moment of truth, the moment of decision. Because as they see, as they're being activated by your insight, by your reflection, then they are now going to be present in, well, what are you going to do about it? Right? And you don't have to say, what are you going to do about it? But it's that energy of like, okay, we're both standing here in the truth. I'm in conversation with your true self. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to make the decision? Are you going to make the change? Are you going to whatever? You don't have to say this, but that is what your energy will say. And that is something that I grew into. So in phase one, there was a reluctance to share certain things that I was seeing or feeling. Then when I started sharing them, it was more of like, hey, take it or leave it. You know, just kind of like, hey, I'm just out here being an oracle. It's just something that I see. Just kind of like that passive, dismissive. And if you're really being honest, then there is a protective mechanism at play there. There's a dishonesty of sorts. Not that it's your job for them to change or that they even need to change. But if you're really being truthful, if you're really being present, if you're really in service, then that kind of dismissive, passive energy, just like, hey, is a form of resistance. And every form of resistance has a calling, and that calling is the call to your leadership. Because that's what's going to be the most impactful. It is the change that is made. It is the decision. It is the willingness for them to internalize, if it's resonating, of course, to internalize and take on what they're receiving. Because they're not receiving it from you, they're receiving it through you, which means it's in them. So it is a moment of truth. And that changed the game, literally. I remember a woman that I had several conversations with at one point in time. This was many years ago. And she saw me as somebody who was very inspiring and very activating and very impactful to her life, but she never considered hiring me. And then I ran into her, like, I didn't see her for a while, and I ran into her a couple of years later, and we had a deep, intimate conversation. I was just being myself, right? And she said something to me that really impacted me. She said, if you would have said to me a few years ago what you just said to me right now, I would have hired you in just a second. Just like that. And then I had the realization. I wasn't standing in my leadership. I wasn't being a stand for her truth. I wasn't being that leader and embodying that and inviting that and calling her forth into her truth. And so Oracle leadership, that changed the game. And especially if you are going to be an Oracle, an advisor, an intuitive, for somebody who's very powerful, for somebody who's very intuitive. I'm like the Oracle's Oracle, right? Somebody who's already very powerful, meaning they have a lot of energy. They're a big being. They're a big soul. And they are the type of being who is decisive and visionary and believes in themselves. These are the type of people that I'm an advisor to, a coach, a mentor to, an oracle to, especially if you are going to have influence, if you're going to have leadership and impact with powerful people. They're not looking for yes people. They're the thing that is valuable to them is the person that is going to tell them the truth, that is not putting them on a pedestal, that is not minimizing themselves, but the person who's going to tell them the truth. Because when you're speaking your truth, when you are the leader and the authority of what you're seeing, which you are, it doesn't matter if the person resonates with it or not. When you are being in your truth, then you command, you draw forth, you call forth that, and it's trustable. Even on an unconscious level, people will trust you, which means the converse is true as well. If you are reluctant, or you half-heartedly say the truth, or you don't say it at all, or you dilute it, then ironically, even if you're offering intuition that is spot on, 100% accurate, that person consciously or unconsciously won't trust you. And if they don't trust you, they won't hire you. If they don't hire you, they're not going to pay you. And so this was such a good realization for me, and it literally 10x my income. This one realization. And it wasn't a skill that I needed to learn. It wasn't a technique. It was literally just courage. Courage. And when you look really deeply in it, it's love. It's pure service, because service in its purity is unconditional. This is what I mean, where it's like they're going to respond however they're, a grown-ass adult. They're going to respond in their truth. It is not up to us. It is not our responsibility to control someone else's response. And so when you are offering your love, your loving service, and when it's coming through as fire and it's coming through the heart, You don't need to water it down or dilute it. That creates distrust. And when it's coming through the heart, there's also humility and openness. So it's not like you're like, I'm right. This is the gospel. You need to listen to me. No, there is humility. There's an innocence there versus false humility, which is, hey, this is, don't, hey, take this, take it or leave it. Right? So it really is the courage to be in love, in loving unconditional love and service. This is what you are, the frequency that you are offering, the frequency of love, the frequency of truth. And it is like an honoring of another soul, even if it triggers them, even if it's uncomfortable. When you're offering truth from the heart, it is received in the heart. It is received in the spirit. And that becomes your authority. And that's why I said it's not a tool, it's not a technique, it's not a gift, it's just literally the courage to be in love and to be in truth and to own and value yourself and to offer your offering purely. And naturally, when you do that and you don't dilute it, you will offer it as what I'm saying is a leader. You will offer it with power and authority. So oracle leadership. All right. The third thing that I learned was then, now that I was like, okay, this is valuable. I want to offer more of this. I want to do more of it. I want to scale this. I want to give this God-given gift to the world. And for me, part of my mission, part of my assignment is visionaries and powerful people are those that are attracted to work with me intimately. And so I'm like, I'm here for it. I want to do more of it. And so then as I started intentionally offering myself more to the world, then valuing my gifts, and this is how you now come into the marketplace where you're visible in the world, valuing my gifts properly, and then learning how to communicate my gifts in a way that people can understand and feel if we are meant to do business together, if I'm meant to serve them. And in the marketplace language, this looks like buy your program, hire you. That is a whole other skill set. And I went through all different variations of using language. And there's two things here. One is that when you have embodiment, then language is less important because people feel your embodiment, and that is trustable. And language is powerful. And so if you're using language that people can't connect to, that they can't actually feel something, that they can't actually feel how it's going to be valuable and impactful to them, then you need to change your language. And then the embodiment is also something that transcends language. And this is when you can kind of say whatever you want. So there's a bit of a paradox there, because when you are embodied in something, then you are transmitting, you are emanating from that rooted place of this person is serious. This person is the real deal. And literally the energy comes into your body. I know earlier on when I was excited, I was like, it's like that, like that's what people call woo-woo or airy-fairy. To me, what that means on an energetic level is that your energy that you're transmitting is not transmitting through your body, which means you're up in the ethers, your energy's, it's floating out here, right? Or it's getting caught in the mind instead of bringing it into the body. So once you have embodiment, then that's the beginning of playing with powerful communication. And how do you frame yourself? How do you package yourself in such a way that the person or the industry or the environments that you're meant to impact can feel you, understand you and feel you and be moved to take action. That's it. And then the fourth thing, and which was also a game changer, is be in the right room. And what do I mean by the right room? The people that are receiving and valuing from your gifts and hold them to be priceless, those are the people that are going to pay you the most. And that is a particular type of soul. So I actually wrote a list of things here to really drill this point home. So people who devalue, which this is something that I learned. I learned the value and I learned it by the devaluing. There's a quote in the Bible that says, "Don't cast your pearls among swine." Loosely interpreted, it's like you want to share your gifts, and I'm saying this in the context of being highly paid and offering your gifts to people who really are valuing them and really are going to receive the most impact, right? So with the people who are valuing them, the people that are holding it to be priceless, they're just like, this is exactly what I was looking for. Oh my God, that what you just said right there changed my life. I can't tell you how many times I've had a client say, this one session, this one insight, this one revelation, what you're reflecting back to me, whatever you just opened in me is worth the price of the whole entire 6-month mentorship, the whole entire year in one moment. That's the type of person. That is the type of soul. And this is unique to my niche, but I think it's very valuable to understand the energetics of what I'm saying. That is the type of soul who is going to pay you a lot of money because they are prepared, primed, and ready to receive the value and the impact. They hold such things as priceless. I call it an Olympic level soul, right? They're like, if I get one edge, one insight, one nugget from this book, one thing from this session, it's worth everything to me. There's another thing that's part of that is they have a bias to taking action. People who have devalued, not devalued like I haven't had people go, oh, this isn't valuable. Maybe I had that happen twice in 15 years. But people who do not fully value my oracular gifts are usually, and this is something to be honest about, they're usually the people that have a lot of fear, not even just a lot of fear, they are not being completely honest with themselves. They're not the person who is going to automatically take action. You see, because the reflection, the insight that you offer, that's one level of impact and value, right? By itself. If you activate someone, that's another value point. But the full fruition of your oracular reflection, the full fruition, the full reaping of the harvest and the value of it comes from actually integrating it, implementing it through the body, through decision and through action. So people who are decisive and people who take action are usually the same people that are going to hold your insights, your oracular gifts to be priceless to them. All right, I said I made a list here. Let's check this out. All right, so conversely, people who are hiding from themselves are not going to, even if they say, oh my God, you're amazing, this, you blew my mind, right? I've had this happen with people. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing, you blew my mind. But they're in their mind and they're hiding from themselves. So people that are hiding, people that are invested in hiding, it's almost like they're standing behind a wall, receiving your gifts, taking notes and seeing what they want to let in and what they don't. People who are hiding, it's not that necessarily they're going to be like, hey, this isn't valuable. It's just to say that they won't be able to be as impacted because they're not open to fully receive. And by the way, this list came up because I've encountered all of these people and I've been all of these people. All right, people who are looking for a savior. Actually, one of the two people, in the last 15 years that was like, this wasn't worth it. Somebody who hired me for an intuitive session, an oracular session, and then was complaining afterwards and basically saying this wasn't worth it. And I got it immediately. And I just like, I took it in, and I was like, you know what? I gave them their money back, and I took full responsibility, because there was a telltale sign from the first initial back and forth like messages that we sent. I felt something intuitively. I didn't feel a fuck yes, but I said yes because everything on the surface looked like it was in alignment, except for it wasn't fully in alignment. And so then I proceeded into the session. And she even said something, looking back in hindsight in the session, that is like a red flag of the highest order. And I said something about, not looking for a savior. And she was like, well, I am looking for you to save me. Ha 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 ha. And I dismissed it. I overlooked it. And that's the thing to take responsibility for if you want to master your craft and master your intuition. And in the context of service, be a powerful leader. You got to own that. I was like, oh, she said that. And I kind of was like, ha ha ha, no, don't be silly. But then I carried on. So she was like trying to tell me she's looking for a savior, because someone that's looking for a savior cannot receive, because they're in such a state of fear and disconnection from their own inner authority, from their own intuition, which is actually the greatest gift of my oracle and my intuition. I'm not giving people my beliefs, my ideas, my philosophy, my anything. I am a pure mirror. I am in unity with their true self, with their higher self. And my vessel is pure. My mirror is clear. So I'm only reflecting back to people what I'm channeling through their energy. But when someone is looking for a savior, consciously or unconsciously, when someone's looking to be saved, they have disconnected from their own intuition, from their own inner authority, from their own soul, in a sense, and they've given their power away. So that's the other thing. People who are giving their power away, for whatever reason, it's always fear. People who are giving their power away, who are rejecting or afraid of what they know, if you then come in with this knowing and this offering of your intuition, this offering of truth, even if it's pristine and accurate to the highest order, if they are giving their power away, if they are looking for a savior, then they are going to devalue your gifts. They're not going to be able to be as impacted by the value of your gifts, because they're not in a state of receiving. They're not prepared to actually receive your gifts, and that translates as less value rendered, less impact, less service rendered. That's how it manifests. And so the way that you attract people who can receive you and don't attract people who can't receive you, it goes back to simplicity, to radical honesty. It goes back to applying your own intuitive gifts, your own inner knowing to yourself. And that's what I mean when I said I took responsibility. Because in hindsight, I could see, I could sense. I was like, oh, this probably isn't the best idea. But then I was like, but I know I can help her and she wants my help. So let's do this. And so I'm a quick learner. I apologize, and I gave her money back happily, happily, happily. The last thing here is people who are afraid to take action. People who are afraid to take action. People who are not going to take action no matter how good your insights or reflections are not going to be the ones that are holding it to be priceless. They're not going to be the ones that are the most receptive in receiving it. And so that was a game changer. And that's what I mean by being in the right room. Being in front of the person, or in front of the people, or in the room where the people are decisive and they take action, even if they're afraid, even if they don't know where it's going to lead them, they have enough courage, they have enough faith, they have enough momentum in taking action, are the ones who are going to receive the value and the power of your gifts. So everything that I'm sharing, this would be an example that might actually apply to you. If you have already decided, or if you haven't already decided, that you're going to take action on whatever is resonating with you that I'm sharing, then if I offer a program or something, which I most definitely am available for, by the way, if anyone wants to do a half-day intensive or something like that, an immersion with me, to come into the embodiment of everything that I'm saying, and actually everything that I'm sharing, I could go deeper into each one of these things, then I'm available. I'm inspired towards that because I feel like more people should get paid handsomely that are truly in service, that are offering their gifts. It's only the people that have decided that I'm already doing that and I resonate with what you're saying and I can see that you have wisdom, Oren, and embodiment. I'm here. Let's go. Let's do this. When I say $1 million oracle, these things that I've learned, I genuinely have gone from making $20,000 to multiple six figures just from the things that I learned. So there's an irony there that I learned, is that, oh, many times, not all the time, many times the people that are questioning the price of something, they haven't actually decided that they're doing the thing. If I said to you, I can help you become $1 million oracle, or get paid whatever you desire to get paid for your intuitive gifts, if you really, really, really have decided that you're going to do that, then to me, and hopefully to you, you'll get what I'm saying here. It's actually a no-brainer to say yes if it's in alignment, if there's a resonance there. And that's why, like, it's never really about the money. Not to completely dismiss the relevancy of having money, but I'm talking about determination. I'm talking about the energy of decision. And it's those types of beings that are usually the ones that, one, are going to receive the most value because they don't need you, right? And the ones that are willing to pay. I've spent years refining this to where my attractor beam, my signal that I'm putting out, primarily attracts people who are like, Oren, this is the best thing ever. This is game changing. It's life changing. This is priceless. Like, thank you. I'm eternally grateful for your gifts. And it's literally the difference between, like, let's say person A over here, I'm offering my mentorship, and they're contemplating whether or not it's really going to be worth the $500, right? This person is willing to pay $500, and they're also going to be a lot more meticulous and particular about, what am I getting out of this? Is it worth it? Am I going to get the return on the investment? Is this going to give me what I want? $500. And then person B is paying $50,000. And they're just like, wire, sent, done. It's already done. Those are the easiest clients to work with because they are the type of soul that I'm describing. That blew my mind right there, right? $500, $50,000. You see, then it freed me up as someone who is living and breathing a service to give my gifts for free, like I'm doing right now, like I do in my life. And then I literally get paid six figures to do things that I do for free. I do. And so my heart feels good. My soul feels good in that. And that's something that I also had to contend with in the beginning. I was like, oh, if people can't afford my services, but this is out of the generosity of my heart. This is my calling. Like, I felt bad. I'm like, oh, I don't want to exclude anybody. Like, that is something to get over. And so now I'm living a very practical example of like, you never had to exclude anybody. I'm one channel, one divine channel, and I can have 10, 15 outlets in which I'm sharing. And so there is a sector of the marketplace. There are people in your sphere of influence that one of those lanes is, I want to pay you extremely well for your gifts. Why not? Why not? And then you can serve in all other different ways, or you could charge nothing for your gifts. So those are the 4 things. The last one being, speak to the right person. That'll change your life. Speak to the right person, get in the right rooms, and don't cast your pearls before swine. Don't spend too much energy trying to give to people who are not actually positioned and ready to receive you, because whether they want to or not, they're going to devalue what it is that you have to offer by virtue of not being ready to fully receive it. If you feel excited, if you're like, oh, I'm on this threshold, if you are like I was back at any one of these points in my life where you're like, hey, like I know I'm gifted, and I know like there's so much more that wants to come through me, and you're ready to receive that reflection of, this is the best thing ever, I'm eternally grateful, and I'm happy, I'm more than happy and more than capable of paying you whatever you want me to pay you. If you want to go deeper into that, then reach out to me. Reach out to me. I am available for immersions. I would say like a half-day immersion. We could cover years in a half a day easily if you are receptive and ready. Or I might do a more extensive course. If you express some interest in that, or if enough people express interest in that, then it might inspire me to do it. So otherwise, take what resonates and please, please, please put it into action. Test it out. Playfully experiment. It really, really is that simple. Will you have the courage to stand in your power, lovingly in service, and offer your gifts to the people who need them the most? Because if you're willing, the people are there. That is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this. Oh, signing off. I love you.